I need to focus on seeing these confluences on the higher time frames and then scaling in and finding those same confluences on the lower time frames, but can't be mad at it. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is actually the start of the first episode of the new series where my goal is to take $1,000 and turn it into $10,000, and I'm going to do that trading currencies or Forex. The two main pairs that I'm going to focus on are USD JPY and GDP JPY. The reason I chose those is because USD JPY is what I've been focused on since I first started even looking at charts when it comes to foreign currencies, and GJ I just picked up recently. I'm actually gonna probably do a market analysis in this video right after I finish the recap of this week's trades, but I picked it up because my cousin told me that it was a pair that gave really good setups and that had a lot of good movement, so I'm gonna try that out from now on. And I didn't want to just focus on one pair. I wanted to have two pairs at least before I even try to, you know, later down the line start doing indices and commodities. But either way, that's what we're gonna start with. First thing I want to say, this week I ended in the positive. I didn't lose any money. I traded for 4 out of the 5 days this week, which was Tuesday through Friday. I'm gonna go into detail exactly what happened on each trade as we get into the screen recording, but first thing I want to say is the expectations for the profit in this account at the beginning are going to be very low because of the capital that I'm playing with. Like I said, I'm starting with $1,000, and that means that with my broker, which is a 1 to 50 margin, will not let me risk as much as I would want to if I was using an offshore brokerage. But I'm using forex.com, so I can't even be mad at it. It's the one I chose, is the one that I feel is most reliable until, you know, everything gets figured out with MetaTrader. So it's the first thing I wanted to say in terms of just the expectations. A $50 day is a very good day compared to my other videos or the clips that I had where I was doing $1,000 days, and that's because the account size was different. But I'm not gonna sit here and lie like that was my actual account. That was a demo account, and I have a whole series. If you haven't checked out that series, go and check it out. Probably popped up in the top or it's in the description. It's called Road to Live, where I break down exactly every trade I had for the month of December, and I even talked about how much I ended the month of December for. If you want to find out, go and check it out. This week was mostly a week of experimentation, just trying to get a hang of trading with live funds, and I believe I got it down this time. There are a couple mistakes that I caught myself with during this week. I only realized that because obviously I'm doing this video. This is kind of a back testing thing. I've been seeing a lot of people talking about when you lose a trade, immediately try to back test to see what happened, why you weren't successful in that trade. This is what this series is going to help me do either way. I have to go back and see exactly why, and I'm gonna give you guys my thoughts, what I was thinking during the trade and after, if I ended up losing or winning, either way. But yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about, just the expectations in the beginning of the account. Once I get to like around 5,000 and up, then yeah, definitely is gonna start being more of a, it's gonna give a better number in terms of just my take profits and what my targets are. In terms of this week as well, once I tell you exactly how much I ended the week with, just know it was an experimental week. Not saying that I ended in the negative, because I didn't. Now that I have a hold of this and I've gotten my psychology right when it comes to trading with live funds and understanding the market and why the market moves even more, like I said, I'm in the process of just evolving. I'm learning every day when it comes to this trading stuff, and I'm getting better and better every day. I am very confident in my ability as a trader, and I guarantee that I'm going to get to that $10,000 mark. Like I said, I'm going to show you the ups and downs of this whole trading journey. Enough of me talking. Let's get into the trades for this week, and I'm actually doing market analysis as well. Let's get into it. I also wanted to say thank you so much for the amount of support we ended up getting in the last video, my most watched video in terms of when it comes to trading, and I just want to say thank you so much for that. There's nothing that makes me happier than seeing that people are actually enjoying the type of content that I'm making. For the people that ended up joining the team, welcome. If this is your first time here, like I said, my name is Lewis. I already explained what the purpose of this series is. Hopefully you can learn as much as you can from me as I continue to progress and evolve in this trading journey. But we gained like 10-15 subscribers in the last day, so just thank you so much for that. Always appreciative, no matter if it's just one person, one like, one view. I don't care. I enjoy doing this, and that's the reason why I keep going. But let's get into it. Let's get into this. As you can see here, this is the market today on Sunday. The market just opened a couple hours ago. I already did my market analysis. These are the targets that I have because I am bullish this week. That is because, as you can see over here, this recent high was violated, and this candle right here on the 3rd closed above it, which means that we are now bullish. Break of structure to the upside means that I'm going to be looking for longs all week. It looks like it's starting to retrace a little bit, and that is fine with me. There's an order block right here, as you can see, swept liquidity below these lows, and then it had this big reaction up, which is something that I caught on after the week ended. Honestly, in the beginning of the week, I was not paying attention to this, but that is my own fault. Like I said, I am doing these trade recaps because as I progress, I keep on learning and I keep experiencing new things that are going to help me become a better trader overall. But as you can see, we're retracing. I have an alert on TradingView right here, and if it gets to this price, it's going to alert me. Hopefully, if it happens overnight, I can wake up, but if it gets anywhere near this and it ends up breaking structure back to the upside on the lower time frames in the next few days, I am going to place a long for the week, and I'm just gonna place my stop loss below here. It's gonna be a higher time frame trade, which is gonna be a swing trade, but I'm not mad about it at all. I was just saying, if it comes down into this order block, because it will start the new uptrend. As you know, higher highs, higher lows. That is a high right now that it formed, which is higher from here, and like I said, a break of structure on the upside. So I'm bullish on the daily. The weekly, this candle seems to be retracing a little bit, which will probably create a fair value gap, honestly, because this was a big candle for last week on the upside. But if this candle ends up closing above this high right here from the previous week, then I am bullish on everything on the monthly. As you can see, we are still bullish because the most recent low is down here, which means that these two red candles were just a retracement, and hopefully it just keeps going up. So like I said, I'm going to be looking for longs all week on the daily. I already showed you guys what's up with that, but that is my weekly analysis for UJ. We'll end up seeing how the week goes. I'm very confident. I already checked let me check it again real quick. This is exactly what I have on my Forest Factory, just to make sure that I get the correct news. I take off the yellow folder because it's not very important. It's not high impact news on the market, and I keep on the gray one because it usually tells me when it's a bank holiday. I unchecked all the currencies that I don't trade, and I kept a couple in here, like the euro, kept it in there. I don't know why, really. I don't trade that, but I just kept it in there. I have that filter applied, and this is what it's looking like for this week. So as you can see, today is a bank holiday. There's been a lot of movement today, which is something that I wasn't really expecting. But for Monday, we have an orange folder with CPI and Tokyo Core CPI year to year. I'm gonna trade, obviously that's at 6:30. So if I'm sticking to my trade strategy, I'll probably be out by then. Hopefully we'll just see how it ends up going, but I have to keep that in mind for tomorrow. Tuesday, there's no news. Wednesday, there is a GBP red folder with the governor speaking for USD 10-year bond auction at 1 p.m. and at 9:15, which means on Wednesday I won't trade GJ, and hopefully I'm already out of the market on Wednesday by 1 p.m. So as you can see, Thursday, probably won't trade Thursday just because of all these high impact folders, and then same thing with Friday. So I'm probably just looking at these 3 days for this week, but I'm not mad. I was burned this week on a news day, and I'll tell you guys when I get to the trade recap, but that's all that I wanted to talk about. Now let's get back to the actual charts, and we'll talk about exactly what happened this week. So on Tuesday, I found exactly where I was. The screenshot already came up showing you what the actual position was. I was using the ranges that I usually use, which are from 2 to 5, and I had a previous day session marked out. So I had this marked off from a previous day session. I just marked it in this video right now just to show you what I was thinking. I don't understand why I was bearish on the day, because if I zoom out into the 4-hour, you'll see this right here, which was the liquidity sweep below these lows here, and then break of structure to the upside, which started an uptrend. I just didn't catch it on Tuesday, and I was looking for a short. For some reason, I was still short. This happened last week on Thursday, and as you can see, we ended up going up, and then I saw this, and I was like, okay, we are starting to come down. This is just looking for liquidity up here, but I didn't notice. I wasn't paying attention. That's my mistake. With this in hindsight, I figured it out now, but like I said, I was looking for shorts for some reason when I should have been looking for longs, because if I would have caught a long in this position and then held it out, as you can see, it went up. So you just have to be aware of my long-term biases and my higher time frames, which is exactly what I'm doing. I am no longer trading with these parameters in terms of the London session and the London session highs and the London session lows, looking for liquidity. Now I'm looking for liquidity above the old highs and old lows, but on the higher time frames. I'm just telling you right now what I was thinking when I was taking this trade. So exactly what it was, I saw that it swept liquidity up here, which I thought was liquidity, but it wasn't liquidity. Like I said, this was from a previous session's high or a target that I had. So I just put it in here so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. I saw this fair value gap form, never ended up closing it. I was like, okay, let me just wait. I'm gonna be patient. If I am patient, I will see a setup that I like. Then it ended up coming out a little bit lower and forming another fair value gap, which formed right here. It is a smaller fair value gap, as you guys can see, but it did form it. And I remember when I was looking at the price action, it was actually going up and then came back down and closed right here. And I said, okay, it's probably going to reverse and start going down. Now I had my targets down here on the lows of this session, so it would have been a good trade. And then I had lows from a previous session as well come out for you guys. This session is low, and then so it's probably exactly like this. But that's what I was looking for. I was looking for it to come back in here and then maybe go down, but never did. And since it was an up day, it was a bullish day, I don't know why I was looking for shorts. I should have zoomed out and seen the bigger picture and seen, okay, I have to be looking for longs now that it, like I showed you, it swept liquidity on the higher time frames and shifted structure to the upside. But this was the trade that I was looking for. I got in right here, and because of the spread, it put me in at 695. But I was trying to get in exactly in the middle of that fair value gap. My stop loss was exactly at this high right here, and my take profit was the second target, which was down here. I would have took profit right here on this first. This was my first target on the low of the London session. Would have took profit there, and then my other profit was below this, and then I also had another one down here which would have been filled in, and then there was this fair value gap which would have been perfect. So I would have had 3 fair value gaps. There were 3 targets that day, and honestly it would have been this trade, which is a 4.3 risk to reward ratio, which is not a bad trade at all. It just, I had incorrect bias and it ended up taking me out, but I would have took profit on all 3 of these targets. It just didn't go my way. It's okay. I learned, I understand why it didn't go my way, because I was bearish when I was supposed to be bullish. I didn't see the change of structure on the higher time frames, but now that I understand that, it won't happen again. Now let's move on to the next day. Oh, I'll tell you exactly how much I ended up losing, because this is from the live account. Okay, so I ended up losing $16 on that trade, which isn't bad at all, but I'm happy because in my trade strategy I have between 1 and 3% risk. That is what I am allowed to risk on any day. That is a basically 1.5% risk on this day, and I'm not mad at all. I stuck to my trade strategy and it just didn't go my way because, like I said, I messed up on not knowing my bias and not having the correct bias, but it's okay. Let's move on to the next day. Okay, so as you can see in the screenshot, it was in between a fair value gap that I believe was on the higher time frame. I didn't have anything else marked out in terms of anything I can see from the London session. I probably did have it marked out either way, but this is the trade exactly. Like I said, it was a bullish day, so obviously why not have longs? I'll show you exactly what the trade setup was. Okay, so I got in right here. It was a very good trade, honestly. I had my stop loss right here, and my take profit was at the top of the fair value gap, which I honestly could have held on for longer. So this was the trade itself. It is an amazing trade, honestly. Now that I'm looking at it, it is a 10.2 risk to reward ratio. It was an $8.90 trade. Can't be mad at it. I was down from that $16, which I lost, so I was like, F it. And I think I closed out half of the position once I got there, and then ended up taking me out because I moved my stop loss, as you can see. But I did secure with that first take profit, and I was in the middle of a fair value gap. I saw that we had shifted structure and gone to the upside when we closed above this candle right here. There was no other way to go other than go up, so I got in here and I targeted the top of the fair value gap, and it was a good trade. So I cannot be mad, which means that I have 1 bad trade and 1 good trade on the week. I risked a lot more on the other trade. I could have made a lot more on this trade, honestly, if I just left my stop loss exactly where it was and then just set higher targets up here. Like, as you can see, there was definitely a bunch of targets up here that I could have just targeted, but didn't do so. So it's okay. Not mad at it at all. Now that I'm targeting higher time frame take profits, I am not mad. I'm looking for more sniper entries, but that is the trade. Let's move on to the next day. I have another screenshot from a trade exactly at 11:26 a.m. from Wednesday. I don't have anything in I only have 1 trade from that day. I think that, okay, so I remember now. I have another one which I could have targeted, and this is a trade that I could have took, but I didn't take it. I don't know why I took a screenshot of it, but that is besides the point. I'll put it in the video either way, but I'm not gonna explain it. Let's move on to Thursday. Thursday was a crazy trade, which was the best trade of this week. Thursday was when everything started to click. I had to sit through a bunch of consolidation, but I was actually taking trades off the 30-minute on Thursday. So this is the price action for Thursday. So you can see here, this is exactly where I got in. I got in 2 different spots. I was long because I saw that there was a sweep of liquidity over here at exactly 2:30 in the morning, swept below this low, and then went up and broke structure exactly on this high right here. This could have been a point of entry, or this right here. So this was the target that I could have had. First target, obviously. Second target would have been this right here, which I never ended up getting to on the trade on Friday, but I'm just gonna stick to this. This would have been a 1-to-3 risk to reward ratio. This is on the higher time frame, so honestly, if I would have gone even lower and came in here, maybe had this as my risk, it would have been a 2.05 risk to reward. If I would have gotten in the 5 and I scaled in exactly, I could have waited for exactly a different one, maybe has set it here or here, and would have been a 4.48 risk to reward. But like I said, that's not the actual trade that I took. Let's go back to the actual trade that I took. I'm kind of lingering over here and just talking some nonsense. So this is what I was thinking, right? We were bullish. I saw that I missed this earlier in the morning. Don't really care care. I said, let me get in here and keep waiting. I'm gonna be patient. I'm looking at the higher time frames now. I was looking at the 30-minute. I need to focus on seeing these confluences on the higher time frames and then scaling in and finding those same confluences on the lower time frames, but can't be mad at it. It's okay. The best position that I got in at was, okay, this was the best position that I got in. I had two positions. One, I got in right here, and then the other one was at 607, which was basically right here. Two good positions, good entries. I don't really care. I had my stop loss at this low here, and my target was, this was a trade. It was a 1.09 trade. It was a horrible trade, honestly, and I had to wait all the way up to here, almost at 1 in the morning, for it to actually fill in. I had to sit through a bunch of consolidation. This past week, I thought trading in the afternoon was gonna go back to normal, but it hasn't. The volume is still not there. Extremely slow during the day, and I had to sit through all this nonsense and waiting till I got to my take profit, which honestly was there because of the higher time frames. And I was targeting this up here, which on the next day it didn't even get up to, so I wouldn't have been mad. I was actually supposed to close out half of one position. The second position was supposed to close out the full position and then leave the other half of that first position just running overnight to see what happened. And I would have honestly woke up to a lot of I would have been in profit when I woke up and seen this. And I don't know if I would have sold, but honestly, as you can see, the trading the next day was all good, and there was a lot of news on that Friday. But that was the trade. I ended up making around $41 on that trade, and that ended up putting me in profit, I believe like $36 after I lost the first day and that $8 that I had on the second day. So I was in profit. Very good. Now coming into Friday, this is the screenshot from Friday. Friday was a high impact news day. There was news at 8:30 and news at 10. As you can see here, I had the target up here, and I was supposed to keep my trade running from the day before, but I forgot to move my take profit on one of the trades and ended up taking me out of both. I don't really care because I secured profit. Don't matter. But I knew that it was gonna be a high news day. It was gonna be my first high news day trade on the live account. I said, okay, let me risk it. I'm in profit right now. Whatever happens doesn't matter because I'm just trying to get used to the live account on this. I'm trying to get used to the live account in general. I'm gonna risk it for the biscuit. If I end up losing, I end up losing. I don't really care because I was already in profit for the week, as you can see. So I got in right here. I had my stop loss. So this is the trade that I was trying to have on Friday. It was a 4.21 risk to reward ratio. We were bullish on the day. I was like, okay, I saw that 8:30. It went all the way up here, didn't hit it. So this is what I was thinking. I was thinking, okay, didn't hit that up there. I'm gonna risk the 10 o'clock candle and see if it goes up. Either way, I'm still in profit, so I don't really care. And this is exactly what ended up happening. 10 o'clock hits, boom, stopped out, took me out. I ended up losing on that. I believe it was like $15 if I'm not mistaken, $20, but because of this long candle and obviously spread, I was risking $15, but my broker ended up taking me out a little bit later than it was supposed to, and I ended up losing $20. I'm not mad. I was still up, I believe, $14 on the day. I could have ended it there, but I had another trade at the end of the day, which I lost $10.65 trying to catch this uptrend. I caught it at the top of the uptrend, and then it just ended up keep going up and down, and then you already know, chasing price. Shouldn't have done that, will not do that, but that's what ended up happening. So I should have noticed that this was a draw on liquidity to the upside. Took out liquidity right here above these highs on the 30-minute and the hour as well. 4-hour didn't really take out any, well, it took out this high and the 4-hour, but it drew liquidity there. So that was the manipulation candle. 10 o'clock was the candle to the downside. So you can see here, went all the way to the downside and it took me out of the trade. I ended up losing on that, and I ended the week with $3 profit. Can't be mad at that at all. $3 is $3. Now I know exactly what my game plan is, which is find these confluences, my break of structure, my sweep of liquidity, my order blocks, my fair value gaps, and equilibrium on the higher time frames, and then scale down into the lower time frames and find those same confluences happening so I could have a sniper entry and risk less, but also target these higher time frame targets, which is what I'm going to be looking for on this week's trading. But that has been basically what I wanted to talk about for this week. If you guys allow me here, just real quick, I want to look at GJ and see how GJ is trading going into the new day. GJ right now, if I go on the daily, is on an uptrend as well because it broke structure above this high. high, so I'm gonna be looking for longs on GJ on the week. It could finally be on an uptrend depending on what it is tomorrow. If it goes above this, could just be a retracement on the monthly, honestly. As you can see here on the monthly, we are, and if you guys ever have trouble, you could look at this. If we break above this high, we are definitely bullish, and then if we end up closing below this low here, which is also this low, is basically the same, we will be bearish. As of right now, we are bullish, so you can see bullish on the higher time frame. So I'll be looking for longs on, this could be an order block right here, honestly, on the daily, so you guys can see this is the move before this move up, depending on what this charts are looking like tomorrow when I wake up in the morning. But this could be a order block. As you can see, sweep of liquidity below these lows. It didn't get down below this low here, but it definitely swept liquidity below these lows, and now it is going to the upside strong. So we'll see what it ends up looking like tomorrow. Let me get back to these are my targets for tomorrow. Order block, we'll end up seeing what happens, because on the weekly we're still bearish. On the weekly we are almost bullish. On the weekly, it just depends on what happens with this candle. On the daily we are bullish, and on the monthly we are bullish. So I'm guessing weekly we're just having a retracement. For the monthly, let's see what ends up happening tomorrow. Either way, thank you so much for sticking to the end of this video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I forgot to say that in the beginning of the video. Make sure you check out the last series. Follow me on Instagram. Thank you so much for the support on this YouTube channel, and I will catch you on the next video, hopefully with some profits. Forever in profit. Shout out Q Banks. But yeah, my name is Lewis, and I'll catch you. Peace out.